Welcome to the Cashflow Chronicles. I'm your host, Jonny and the founder of Catani Capital Group. For the last 2 years, I've been studying alternative assets and now help solve the problem of creating passive cash flow for creators, influencers, and busy professionals by bringing you 5 episodes a week of easy to understand education in the world of passive investing. What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to the first ever Friday follow-up on the Cashflow Chronicles podcast. That's right. This is the first introduction as the Cashflow Chronicles. If you've been following along, we changed the name by we. It was a group decision. We changed the name of the podcast and is now officially the Cashflow Chronicles. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope everyone had an amazing week. We are now in the full swing of January, and what a week it has been. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that on Wednesday, I attended Brandon Turner's, aka Beardy Brandon, his goal-setting webinar. It was an all-day event. It was from 11 to 4 my time, Mountain Time, here in Salt Lake City. Sam and I rented a awesome office in downtown Salt Lake City with, we were on the 4th floor with a view of Main Street, which was absolutely amazing, and just kind of separate ourselves and we're present and really learned a really, really awesome goal setting techniques, a new perspective on goal setting, a new structure for goal setting. So really excited because at the end, I'm going to share one of my 2023 goals with you guys and kind of go over the structure and everything. So very, very excited for that. But first, last week, listen, time is irrelevant. Okay, it's just a construct. We all know that. Last week, I brought up global economic data, but didn't know any. That's a nice small glimpse into my brain, and sometimes biting off more than you can chew. But you know what? We're transparent here on the Cashflow Chronicles. So that was it. It was a bit of a blunder on my part, but you know what? We're going to play through. Everything worked out. So I've got some juicy, that's right, just like I teased, I've got some juicy economic data for you guys, including massive losses and huge shift from World Bank outlooks. So first, we're going to start domestically because the inflation data for December just came out. So I want to start there. U.S. inflation now down to 6.5% as of December. If you guys remember, it got up all the way to, I think, 9.3%. And was consistently in the low 8s, like 8 to 8.3% there for like September, October, November. Well, I guess September and October, but August, September, and October were 8%. November, obviously the Fed was cranking the interest rate up. So November dropped to, I believe, 7.9%, if I remember correctly. So huge, a precipitous drop, if you will, in December to 6.5%, which could mean that there will only be a 25 point basis hike on February 1st. So the Fed's going to meet again. They are going to raise again. They have confirmed that, but unsure whether to do 25 basis points or 50 basis points. Data like this is really, really solid for the point of only 25 basis points. Most economists and the Fed has alluded to probably leaving it there at least for a whole quarter before they make a decision on whether to raise or lower it. Typical data has shown that they usually will leave it for anywhere from 8 to 9 months. So if you think basically, end of I guess, let's see, that would be the middle of Q1. Basically, that puts us at nothing being lowered. No, it basically says to me that they will not look to lower interest rates until probably the beginning of 24, which, if you've been paying attention, I said months ago in my sort of 12 month, very muddy crystal ball outlook. However, it is coming to fruition, which concerns me a little bit because I'm not an economist. So I'm concerned that it's this easy to predict, because by no means am I the only one who's made this prediction. I've had people on my podcast have the same prediction. And it's not to say that it can't go that way. It's just that my gut tells me that something's going to break somewhere that we just aren't foreseeing. And it's going to lead us into a recession. And like a lot of recessions, like 08 with the housing market that had never crumbled before, it could be something we've never seen before. So potential there. However, there are still opportunities to be had. So for those of you that are new to the industry, new to passive investing, there will be a lot of really good opportunities over the next 12 to 18 months in the commercial space. Residential wise, depending on your market, we could be looking at the bottom here. Interest rates are starting to teeter and even come down below the 6% range, which I realize is still relatively high. But, you know, the days of 3.5%, I believe, are behind us for, I would say, at least probably 10 years would be my estimate there. So we'll see, but, you know, certainly a lot to keep an eye on. So without further ado, let's get to some awesome global economic data. So first, huge headline that I read and looked into: the Swiss National Bank lost, so it's 132 billion francs, which equates to 143 billion US, largest loss of their illustrious, like 150-year existence. So very fascinating there. They lost money because the franc got too powerful. So they try one of their main goals is because they're so export heavy, they try to keep the franc below a certain level in relation to the euro. They try to keep it actually below a 1-to-1 just because they are so export heavy. It got too powerful, and so they lost money. Okay, another big piece of data from Switzerland, which Switzerland, you guys, is an incredible country. I spent a few days in Geneva in last March. It's absolutely incredible. Bank capital of the world. It's a gorgeous city. There's no homeless people. There are exotic cars, I mean, just parked on side streets like we have freaking Priuses here. It's unbelievable. So they just raised interest rates 50 basis points. Get this. They just raised 50 basis points to 1%. So their overnight rate is at 1%. To compare to ours is anywhere from 4.25 to 4.5%. So that shows you how incredibly strong their economy is and why a lot of people put their money there as a safe haven. Absolutely incredible. Their inflation is at 3%. They try to keep it at 2.5% max. It's at 3%. You guys, we're celebrating 6.5%. Switzerland's at 3%, and they're raising interest rates to curb inflation. That is incredible. So chalk me up for doing business and or banking in Switzerland in the next 10 years, because that will absolutely be a thing. Okay, next piece of juicy data here, which is coming from the World Bank. This is actually huge and something to keep an eye on. So I'm really excited to share this. Well, excited to share it in a holy crap, look what's happening, but also holy crap, look what's happening. So first of all, the World Bank made its 2023 predictions a month ago. They've now cut those predictions, and I'm going to give you some of them. So we're going to start with their whole world outlook, right? The whole global economy. They last month gave their outlook at a 3% growth, which is very low for the global economy. They just cut it to 1.7. 1.7. That's almost 50%. They just cut it. Just like that, because of new data that's coming out. Incredible. And I'll show you where the big hits are. So the US, a big one, their outlook for 2023 for US economy, a 2.4% growth, now been cut to 0.5%. Almost a 2% drop in their outlook in 1 month of data analysis. That is incredible, you guys. And that's what I'm telling you. Something's going to break somewhere, and we're just not seeing it, or I'm not seeing it because I'm just not doing enough research. I love economics and data, but it's not what I study all day long. I have too many other things going on, unfortunately. But one day it will be. Okay, another big powerhouse, China. 5.2% was their outlook a month ago, now down to 4.3%. China could literally live on its own. However, China's big struggle right now is, if you all remember why the supply chain got so backed up, is because China had all these lockdowns, right? Because they've been struggling with COVID. Well, they start reopening and, lifting these lockdowns. And of course, what happens, the supply chain goes back to basically normal. We're down below pre-pandemic levels. I believe the average shipping rate is at $1,400 per crate, which, if I understand correctly, is pre-pandemic levels. Was up one point at like $9,000 a crate at its peak in the summer. So, however, what China is struggling with is they still have not curbed COVID. You guys, they are still literally battling COVID to the tune of, they might have started doing shutdowns again because their entire health infrastructure is getting overwhelmed. Now, I'm not going to get political or anything here, but I believe that a huge part of that is because of the shutdowns, because of the masks, because keeping people in bubbles and inside. You've got to let people go out, and it's a virus. It's kind of got to run its course. And you saw what it did here in the US, but it's not running its course. Now, are people still getting it? Yes. But is it absolutely overwhelming the healthcare system? No. The reason the healthcare system seems overwhelmed is not because of COVID. It's because, well, ironically, it is because of COVID, but it's not because of what the virus is doing to non-healthcare workers. It's because healthcare got so overrun that it pushed workers out. Doctors, nurses don't want to do it anymore. A lot of them came to real estate, not even joking. I got people in my mentorship group who are doctors, and they're doing, commercial real estate on the side, hoping to be out of the medical field as soon as possible. Now, some still staying in it. It is one of those industries like engineering where people typically enjoy being there, right? They chose to be there. They enjoy it. But a lot of nurses and, going back to school for other things, finding other career paths. So that's kind of one of the issues that the US is having. Okay. We got sidetracked there, but that's okay. That was all relevant information. Okay, next powerhouse, Japan. A month ago, 1.3% outlook, down to just 1%. So 0.3 cut there. Again, Japan, another strong economy. Okay, here is the big one. Okay, Europe and Central Asia packaged together for the World Bank's outlook, right? And this is massive. So we're talking, a month ago, they said 1.5% growth for Europe and Central Asia, which, if you've been paying attention, Europe has been struggling. This happens every time, right? Every cycle, Europe struggles on their downside because they all just disagree with each other. Okay, so 1.5% last month, down to 0.1% growth. You guys, that's almost a zero, almost a negative growth for Europe and Central Asia. If you don't think that something's going to break, if this is not an indication that something's going to break and affect the US economy, now its effect on real estate, we'll see. The thing about a lot of people in real estate is very micro in the sense that, our interest rates affect our real estate here, and not a lot of people doing business in the world, like globally, that are in real estate, in U.S. real estate. So we'll see. Now, U.S. real estate affects other countries, as we saw in 2008, right? I mean, we basically we single-handedly brought down the entire global economy with our real estate collapse. I mean, it was that among other things, but that's sort of the leader there. Those lending practices are now gone. They're banished. You can't lend like that. So I'm not sure that real estate will get crushed. Where I do see it being hurt is on the commercial side, when you are trying to raise capital and people, don't have liquidity because they're, have, unrealized losses as opposed to, gains that they can liquidate and use. Or if, for instance, a big 401k option inside, institutional ran 401ks, corporate ran 401ks, is you can be, typically they give you a speculative option, high risk, high reward. And it's typically, heavily predicated on global or foreign investments. And so that could be a huge hit. And a lot of capital in real estate comes from retirement accounts, because you can use your 401k and IRA to passively invest in real estate. If you didn't know that, and if you don't know, now you know, like Biggie says, RIP. So that is some juicy data for you guys. So let me know what you guys think about that, what you think. Tell me what your prediction is for 2023 for economics globally and domestically, because I'm very curious what everyone thinks. DM me on Instagram at Jonny Cattani. That's the best place to talk to me. I will respond the fastest, because I may or may not have a slight social media addiction, which we are going to consciously work on this year. Okay, without further ado, let's get to some goals. Bum, bum, bum. No, that's ominous music. We want a drum roll. Okay, enough of that. All right, so I teased it, I talked about it. So I attended yesterday, Sam and I attended the 2023 Goal Setting Digital Retreat, brought to you by Brandon Turner. We set goals and covered essentially how it works. I'll give the Reader's Digest version. Is basically they want you to take the perspective of using strong, powerful statements. Reflect on what you need, not what you want. Where do you want to be, right? So where do you want to be in 5 years? And what are the goals now? So 1 year goal, 6 month goal, and a quarterly goal that will get you to, that will start building the step-by-step path to what you want in 5 years, right? Now, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you now are able to take at least a 5-year outlook. I'm on to 10 years, not entirely. Like, I don't look at everything on a 10-year outlook, but I'm extrapolating information on 10-year outlook now as I look forward ahead in my business and investing. But when you look from a 5-year perspective, which you should, right? When you're investing, especially passively in real estate, well, not even passively, even if you're active, if you're actively acquiring real estate, you should be planning for 5 years, right? Most hold periods are going to be 3 to 5. You're probably going to start seeing a lot of 5 to 7 now. And so when you're underwriting at a 5-year plan, 5-year, some sort of exit at the 5-year mark, some sort of capital event, if you will, potential refi, whatever it may be. So my annual goals, my 1-year goals are basically set up so that in 5 years, I'm where I want to be in 5 years. I'm not where I want to, right? Like, last year was good, but not as good as I would have liked. But I didn't know what I didn't know. Now I know a lot more. And obviously that's just going to grow exponentially, which, hey, welcome to the conversation. Then your business starts growing exponentially, right? In theory, that's how it should work. So these goals are set up for building my 5-year outlook and where I want to be in 5 years. So I will, here's what I'll do. I'll tell you first what my real estate and business 5-year outlook looks like. Let me just find that here. Health and fitness. You guys, honestly, health and fitness is where I excel. That's not ever been something that I've struggled with. So the categories were money and finance, career and business, health and fitness, fun and recreation, environment and location, friends, relatives and community, children, romantic partner, spouse, growth and learning, spirituality. So 10 sections. We're going to talk about one section and then a goal. So let's see. I believe there was a real estate section specifically, right? And what I want my real estate. And this one was just for, now, not everyone who attended this was a real estate professional. Some of them, Brandon has now transcended real estate, right? He's speaking outside of real estate. So not everyone was necessarily involved in real estate, not even necessarily involved in commercial real estate. A lot of agents were in there. Obviously, the chat was super active, so you get kind of an idea of who was listening. So it was really awesome. And then, of course, he encouraged you to bring your spouse, significant other, whatever. And so a lot of people who real estate professionals are or involved in the industry do not have a spouse who's involved. Case in point, Sam is not in real estate at all. She's in marketing, events, and life coaching. Nothing to do with real estate. So actually very symbiotic, which has been very nice. And a goal that we have this year is to teach each other more about our respective industries and what we do. So that will be really cool. So there was a glimpse into our goal setting as a couple. And I encourage everyone, if you are married, significant other, domestic partnership, listen, it doesn't matter what you are, whatever you define your partnership as. I encourage you to sit down with your partner, no distractions, and take 30 minutes, an hour even change your environment. You can sit at the kitchen table if you want, but, maybe go somewhere, sit down at dinner and set your goals. And as a couple, how you want to grow together. What are your goals to grow together? How you can help each other grow individually, right? That's something you should discuss, but, maybe adding more date nights, or more conversations outside of, the mundane, whatever it may be. I encourage you to do that. So we're going to go ahead and jump now to my 5-year future you real estate edition. So first question, what kind of real estate do you invest in? We invest in multifamily, short-term rentals, and self-storage. How many deals are you doing per year? 3 to 6 deals. Now I put 3 to 6. Some of you may not think that's a lot. Some of you may think that's a lot, because in 5 years, I want to be doing pretty significantly sized deals, right? Multifamily, I want to be in at least 100 unit plus, if more like 150 unit plus, if not portfolio deals in 5 years. So those deals take a long time. And so you're doing less of those, right? You might acquire, $300 million of real estate in a year in 3 deals, 2 deals, maybe 1 deal, right? So perspective there. What kind of deals are you doing? Syndications, acquiring mid to large. I said 50 plus units, but now even just within 24 hours, I'm like, you know what? I'm already going to be looking at 12 to 30 units right now this year. So in 5 years, I think I'm very confident me and whatever team I build and we build will be at the 150 plus mark. How are you funding these deals and opportunities? Limited partners, passive investors, whatever you want to call it. What does your team look like? So me as CEO, I do have Sam as my chief marketing officer. Now she is looking to get away from marketing and focus. Her 5-year goal is to only be life coaching. So I teased that. She chuckled. We'll see. I've got a director of acquisitions and a director of investor relations. Now, I'm more than happy to be CEO and director of investor relations. I absolutely love investor relations. My podcast was named investor relations for 8 months. I love that. I have been told time and time again about my ability to talk to people and really uncover what they love. And that just goes hand in hand with investor relations. Where are you investing? Utah, Phoenix, I have my eye on, and Florida. And I say Florida and the Smile States. I'm not opposed to any of those great markets down there, Florida, Texas. What is your role? CEO, how much are you working? You guys, I put 20 hours a week. That's literally 4 hours a day. That is 4 hours of actual work. That's sitting down, putting my phone away, free of distractions, and working for 4 hours. How much are you earning active income this year? We're not going to talk about income because I don't like money is such a taboo thing to talk about, and I hate it. You know what? Screw it. We're going to talk about it. Active income, $500K a year. Passive income, $120K a year. How much capital are you investing? $250K a year. How is your business organized? Do you have a team or are you solo? Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. Of course I have a team. We're going to be taking down 150, 250, 500 unit portfolio deals. That's a team, baby. What's your deal pipeline look like? Consistent. What is your net worth? Put 10 million. Net worth is very skewed these days and is really irrelevant. Hunter Thompson said it best. He recently said, stop paying attention to net worth. Start looking at cash flow, right? You can have all these assets worth a whole bunch of money, but is it paying you anything? No. So what does that do for you? Not really anything. So there you have it. That is my 5-year real estate outlook. And so what is my goal? What is one goal this year to really propel that 5-year plan? Here it is. So it's broken up into, by the end of 2023, I must accomplish this goal because then we have goal types. Now, this is really awesome in how they have the goal types broken up. You've got outcome. Outcome goal is measured outcome, which I'm going to give you an outcome goal here. You have character, which is a goal to change your character, which is not necessarily measurable, but it is important to figure out find a way to measure that, right? So I'm not going to give you my character goal. Well, I'll allude to it. My character goal is simple. It's just to be a better communicator, both professionally and personally in my personal relationships. So that's not like a quantifiable goal where you can measure it, but there will be a breadth in the conversations that I'm having that will tell me if that's happening or not. So, so there you have the character goal. You have a process goal. Process goal is like a gym, some sort of workout, right? That's a good example there. Working out, right? Losing weight, over the course of the year. And then you have a learning goal, which is to literally learn something. For me, I want to dial in my underwriting even better this year. But that's not an official goal I've made because that's just something I'm going to do and has to happen, right? Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get here to my outcome goal for the year. So by the end of 2023, I will acquire 100 multifamily units. I must accomplish this goal because I strongly believe in real estate and want others to as well. So that is absolutely why. Along the way to achieving this goal, I must network with brokers, build strong call lists. That is like building lists of potential sellers, be consistent on social media, teach others, teach and educate, Build strong partnerships. That's going to be a huge one. Had some misaligned partnerships last year that led to some lost money. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know. So definitely going to be focused on partnerships. Following habits, processes, and or actions will help me reach this goal. Make 50 calls a week. That is outbound calls to potential sellers, which again goes back to my list. Analyze 5 deals a week. That's 1 deal a day in a working week. Connect with 1 new person a week. So by connect, I mean either talk on the phone, Zoom, or in person if they're local. Connect with 1 new person every week. Actively follow up. You guys, this is a huge struggle that I have, which is funny because I was just talking about how I love investor relations. One of my biggest flaws is not following up. And so that is absolutely going to be a priority for me this year to follow up just in any conversation, whether it went somewhere or not, right, is absolutely to follow up. So what are the mini goals that I have? And the thing that I love about this is it's set in, and you'll see it here. Well, you already saw it in the beginning. By the end of 23, I will. So that is a very powerful statement. I am, I will, and I do. That were 3 big statements that Brandon was pushing yesterday. Those are so powerful. Those are write on your mirror, say every day, write in your journal to yourself, affirmations. I am a real estate investor. I am a capital raiser. I will acquire 100 multifamily units this year. I will raise $3 million this year. Those are very powerful statements. And when you say them over and over to yourself and reaffirm to yourself, I like to say them out loud. This is a perfect place to do it because now I have other people to hold me accountable. But really, it's just cementing it in your brain, in your soul, that you will accomplish this. So by the end of Q1, I will find 1 deal and submit an LOI. By the end of Q2, I will acquire 1 deal. By the end of Q3, I will acquire 3 deals. So there you have it. That is my goals. That is 1 goal. You heard also a little bit of a character goal, but that is my main focus this year. And so my habits and the things that I do this year will be centered around accomplishing that goal. So let me know what your guys' goals are. DM me, shoot me DM. I'm going to post a couple of these goals on a post now that I've done this. On my Instagram account, it will be a reel. Follow me at Jonny Cattani. Go comment on that. Tell me what your goals are. I would love to hear them. Would love to help you if you would like help on structuring your goals. I'm not an expert, but got a really, really good, solid foundation. So happy to help it any way I can. Follow me on social media at Jonny Cattani. Go rate, like, review. We've got a new name, people. First official published episode under the new name. It is the Cashflow Chronicles. I am Jonny Cattani. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys next week. See ya. Thank you again for tuning in. Who do you know that wants more cash flow? Share this episode with them so you can grow your cash flow together. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you're subscribed on your platform of choice so you never miss a new episode. Go to CattaniCapitalGroup.com to learn more.